There's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he must be! And it is! Peter Will! Streaming on the bench. And he's done it! Villa have won the European Cup!
Your captain's got the European Cup!
And they're celebrating, those Villa fans, as Dennis Mortimer raises that marvellous silver trophy aloft here in Holland. Villa have done it.
Ken, feeling a bit emotional. How are you feeling?
Not many get an opportunity to, to come back to an area where you had the biggest success, the most memorable day of your life almost.
Yeah.
I know we all talk about children being born and marriage and people passing away, etc. But in your career, to come to a place like this and then return 40 odd years later, wow.
We have emotions about what happened to us on the pitch that night, but we now go to the club on a match day and we have people come up to us, people that were there, sons of people that were there, saying how my dad told me about 82, he was there, and even grandchildren now.
The legendary.
They come in. It's stuck so many years. The club has embraced this. What happened to us?
It is.
And what happened to that team? And they've just embraced it. It's just like amazing.
And we're fortunate to get similar weather to what we had at the end of May in 1982.
I know.
26th of May.
Ironic, isn't it? It's like us beating Bayern in the Champions League last year. Our number 9 scored in the second half. Well, that's how it happened here.
Yeah.
That's how it happened here. That's what happened.
I can make out exactly where we are now because Players' Tunnel was down there. We entered the field there. This was the goal that Peter had scored in. I was right back on the far side there, and I remember seeing Jimmy pick up his gloves and trot off.
Well, it looks as though there's trouble for Aston Villa. Jimmy Rimmer, who I gather injured a shoulder in training yesterday. Well, this is desperate news for Aston Villa.
I think, where's he going, because the game had stopped. I saw him shaking his head. And then I think I might have had to ask Ken McNaught next to me, what's wrong with him? I saw Nige was shuffling around looking for gloves or looking for I don't know what he was looking for, but anyway, within seconds, he was on, Jimmy was off.
Gary Newborn was sitting next to me on the bench.
That's it. He was sitting, I don't know how the hell he got,
and
he was sitting there.
It still hadn't twigged with me that because subs weren't used in those days.
Correct.
Only for injuries. Yeah. And I'd played one game in 5 years, so I didn't think Jimmy was injured. I didn't know Jimmy was injured.
Who did?
Who did?
Nobody did.
And then Gary Newborn elbowed me in the ribs and said, Spinksy, you're on.
I think you're on, son.
And I went, God, Gary. My mum won't half be pleased. That's God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Gary reminds me of it every time I see him.
3 or 4 years after your first touch.
Yeah.
Your debut.
Yeah, my debut touch, but different circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, that is the staggering thing. I know I've said this before, but the staggering thing is it's your second game, your second first team game in your career, and you haven't even started the game, and ended up walking away. What is now a Champions League medal winner. That your story, Nige, is one to behold. I don't know how you keep your head straight after that.
I think it's still surreal, Ken, to be honest with you. And I think, what makes it, for me now that you're thinking about the original thoughts of how we feel about being here, I can feel this ground as being the ground that we were at.
Yeah.
But the thing with that tunnel still being there and exactly the same.
Yeah. And now it's. I think they come out of that side now, don't they?
I think that's all changed, isn't it? So
players come out that side.
And they've modernised it a little bit, but fair play to Feyenoord. They've kept quite a bit of it as it was.
And this will be a noisy place tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably get the goosebumps.
Tomorrow. Because we'll be just punters in the stand.
We're just punters watching it.
Come on the Villa.
Come on the Villa, yeah.
this is the post. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge shaved with an overhead kick from
over
D.
there. Yeah.
He was actually in the D, and the ball came across from here. I don't know, about 10 feet in the air.
Yeah. Oh,
he launched himself into that bicycle
so athletic.
kick, and the ball shaved that post.
Curled.
And I remember it flashing past and then bouncing just wide of the post, and I thought, oh, I shouldn't be on this pitch.
And then the netting there was netting, but it was a little bit closer. And the ball wedged in the netting, and that's when Gordon ran past. Gordon Cowans ran past, picked the ball up, and just laughed at me because we couldn't believe what had just happened.
And I'd never seen anything like that, and didn't expect anything like that, from this fella. But what an impact it had on all of us. I think I was shuddering a little bit, thinking, wow, bloody hell, the game's opened up now. And I'm not sure how many times, like you, were called into action there. I know you got down low to 1, didn't you?
First half I had a block middle of the goal, but the biggest thing for me, Ken, was, and Cloughie said it in commentary, that as soon as I came on, from the halfway line, they put an aimless ball into our box. Nobody around, no strikers, not anything. And I came and caught it, and Cloughie said to me, he says, that'd be worth $1 million to that goalkeeper now.
A lad from Chelmsford City comes on for what is a supreme test of his nerve and his ability, and there he gets an early touch, supported by the Villa fans.
He's had a feel of the ball.
Yeah.
He knows what that's all about.
Yeah.
It'll calm him down, and and it did. He was exactly right. Yes. It was a surreal night, wasn't it? When you think about instances, and the game flowed, didn't it, Ken? Oh, the game flowed up and down. Yeah. It was a fast game. I mean, their quality was second to none, but so was ours. Because I was apart from that 80 minutes, I was on the outside of looking in at you guys, winning the league and then and then getting through to the final of the European Cup. And you had an aura about you as a group. You were just sublime at, and you quoted it and said, if you think you're going to beat us, good luck. That says loads for what for what the squad was and what that team and the 13 players really that completed that 2 years that they had about them. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you think,
I think also all those European games, home or away, we had a different focus. As a group of players. I mean, we weren't doing that brilliantly in the league at the time, but when it came to the European games, I think there was a different focus. And we were hard to beat. We really were hard to beat. And I did think on the day, best of luck if you think you can turn us over, because they're not going to be making it easy for you. And we were confident with the results that we had. And it was a case of, when you get so many points and you think, it's over the course of a season, it might be the last game, like the season before, winning the league. It was all over in the last game of the season. Well, this wasn't all over, but there's another game for the rest of the season here.
There's another. The one time that I thought the game had changed and they'd got back into the game was when they beat me with a header at the far post, and there was a Kenny Swain on the far post.
Getting into good on the far side, and a good cross coming in.
That was your wrong side for you.
That was the wrong side, yeah.
But you've stepped into the goal, and headed, the ball's bounced up at you, and you've cleared it. You've cleared it. You've cleared it away.
And to this day, or not to this day, but to 40th anniversary or the celebration, I always thought, God, I made no contribution in that game at all, apart from that one incident, and I didn't watch the game for donkey's years. And I only, just before the celebration bit a couple of years ago, I thought I ought to watch this game again. So I stuck the video on, watched it all, and I thought, I don't think I was as bad as I thought. So I've lived all this time thinking I was crap and didn't make any contribution, but I did.
You got to remember the pitches in those days were in such good condition, and there was a horrible
There was
sandy pothole in the middle
Yeah.
of each goal from wear and tear. So in Peter's defence of the shin-in goal, it bobbled across the
Yeah,
pitch,
it did,
across the
yeah.
thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
So sure he would have been out wide, Ken.
Yeah.
Laid the ball into Tony. Tony jinked a few times, had them wrapped around his little finger,
Yeah.
rolled the ball across the 6-yard box, and then I don't know your position, Ken, and your thoughts on it, but from my point of view, it was definitely a heart-stopping moment, because there was a delay in me seeing the ball come across the box
Mm-hmm.
and realising that there wasn't a red shirt in sight of Peter
Yeah.
in the middle of the penalty area.
Yeah.
Or the 6-yard box, or whatever they call it these days. And, you know, all I saw was the net ripple.
Mortimer, Shaw, Williams prepared to adventure down the left. There's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he must be! And it is! Peter Will!
I remember Shorey had a bit of a turn there, played it to Tony. He took on the right back. He jinked, didn't he, both ways. He didn't quite get to the byline, but it was barely 5 yards out from there. Across the face of the goal, Peter was like right in on it. And I actually thought, you know, keeper's ball. But either way, he's got it, he shinned it, and I do remember the divots.
Yeah.
I remember that in both ends, and it wasn't just this end,
Yeah.
it was both ends. And I must have been with Des, because like I said about that photograph, with Des and I on Peter's back, because he must have turned away and gone that way, closer to us. And I just remember jumping on his, jumping on him.
So that would have been here
It would have been,
somewhere, wouldn't it?
just about, I don't know,
Yeah.
5 yards, 10 yards outside
Yeah.
the box, because he'd have wheeled away from there.
He's played nearly 45 seconds of time added on. They're squirming and screaming on the bench. And he's done it! Villa have won the European Cup! Peter Witt's goal has brought the European Cup to England again!
I remember there was a race on. I knew that because Dennis and I played for the same town team back in the 60s, and you know he was obviously up, you know, being captain. He was, and I remember I think I actually pushed somebody. I think it might have been Evo. I'll have to check the photographs again, but I think I remember as we were going up the stairs, I'm thinking, you know, I don't mind Dennis getting in front of me, but nobody else is getting in front of me. I remember.
Were you second on the stairs?
And I was second on the stairs,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just wanted to be second, you know. I'm quite happy to be second to Dennis, and we played together. But I think it was Evo, because I think somewhere I've got a photograph and he's in the background somewhere, and I'm thinking, I do remember pushing him out of the way. I'm next.
Well, your captain's got the European Cup.
And they're celebrating, those Villa fans, as Dennis Mortimer raises that marvellous silver trophy aloft here in Holland. Villa have done it.
Because, as well, it's one of Dennis's favourite stories, I think, isn't it? He was so itching to get to the trophy.
Yeah.
And we were all over each other
Yeah.
on the pitch,
Yeah.
congratulating each other.
See ya.
We were here with the fans, weren't we? We were
yeah.
applauding the fans and celebrating with the fans. And Dennis was he just wanted to go up the steps, didn't he? I want that trophy.
Yeah.
He just wanted to pick it up.
I just wanted my medal.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you know, as years have gone by, and how difficult it must be to get to a final, just to get to a final, and I'm not even saying the Champions League final, but even just to get to a final in this industry. God, we're so I can't say we're so lucky, but we're so, I don't know, fortunate, is it? Yeah, we've had a bit of fortune on the way, but wow.
It's just, as it really is. I mean, we'll go back to what we said earlier, Ken, but it really has got to me, I think, being here again. And it's changed, it has changed in some senses, but there's a lot of original stuff still
Yeah.
hanging around.